If you are searching for meaning, listen to this. If you wake up in the morning and your first thoughts are already searching for a meaning behind all of this, know one thing: you are not alone. Maybe you wake up, and before you even get out of bed, you already feel a weight in your chest, a feeling that is hard to explain, as if the day had started before you were ready, as if life were asking for answers you still do not have. And, for a few seconds, everything feels confusing. You look at the ceiling, you take a deep breath, you try to organize your thoughts, but inside, there is a silent question. What is the meaning of all this? Maybe you do not say this to anyone. Maybe you smile normally. Maybe you answer messages. Maybe you go to work, study, take care of the house, fulfill your responsibilities. But inside, there's a tired part trying to understand its own path. And if you feel this way, listen calmly. This does not make you weak. This does not make you ungrateful. This does not mean you do not value life. It only means you feel deeply. And people who feel deeply often carry the world in a different way. Sensitive people notice details that others ignore. They feel the energy of a room. They feel the weight of a word. They feel when someone pulls away. They feel when something has changed. They even feel what no one has said out loud. And because they feel so much, sometimes they get tired more easily. Not because they are fragile, but because they live with their hearts more open. And an open heart also gets hurt more easily. Maybe you have spent too much time trying to be strong, trying not to worry anyone, trying not to seem dramatic, trying not to bother others, trying to say, "I'm fine," when, in truth, you were not. And over time, that becomes heavy. We keep a sadness here, a frustration there, a disappointment a little further ahead, a longing that does not go away, a worry that gives no rest, a pressure that seems to never end. And when we realize it, the soul feels tired. It is not just sleepiness. It is not just a lack of energy. It is the exhaustion of feeling too much, the exhaustion of trying to understand too much, the exhaustion of waiting for things to get better, the exhaustion of holding everything inside. But there is a light for days like this, and that light begins with a simple certainty. This will pass. It may not pass as quickly as you wish. It may not pass all at once. It may not disappear completely tomorrow, but it will pass. The intensity changes. The weight becomes lighter. The mind becomes clearer. The heart finds new spaces. And what feels unbearable today may one day become only a memory of something you managed to get through. So do not turn what you feel today into a sentence over your entire life. A heavy day does not define your story. A difficult season does not define your future. A sad thought does not define who you are. A hard morning does not mean all your days will be like this. Sometimes, the mind wakes up before hope does. Sometimes, the body gets up before the will returns. Sometimes, the heart takes a little longer to follow. And that is okay. You do not need to start every day with enthusiasm. You do not need to wake up motivated all the time. You do not need to feel that everything makes sense every single moment. There are days when the greatest act of courage is simply getting out of bed, opening the window, taking a shower, drinking water, breathing, doing the basics. And the basics, in some moments, are enormous. Do not minimize your struggle just because it is silent. Not every battle is visible. Not every pain has witnesses. Not every exhaustion can be seen. Sometimes, a person is smiling but broken inside. Sometimes, they are talking but want to disappear for a few hours. Sometimes, they are doing everything they need to do but feel empty. And that is why you need to be gentler with yourself. You do not need to treat yourself harshly in a moment that already hurts. You do not need to demand from yourself as if you were a machine. You do not need to compare yourself to people who do not live your story. You are trying, even if no one sees it, even if no one recognizes it, even if, to others, it seems small. You are trying, and trying when you feel like giving up is a deep form of strength. Maybe you are tired of starting over, tired of rebuilding yourself, tired of believing and getting disappointed, tired of waiting and seeing no change, tired of feeling like you are taking small steps while the world seems to be running. But your life does not need to follow anyone else's speed. You are not late. You are not falling behind. You are living your own process. And real processes are not always beautiful. Sometimes they are confusing, slow, silent, full of doubts, full of pauses, full of beginnings that almost no one notices. But even so, they are processes, and something inside you is moving, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Maybe you are learning to listen to yourself. Maybe you are learning to recognize your limits. Maybe you are discovering that you do not have to carry everything alone. Maybe you are understanding that feeling too much is not a flaw. Maybe you are realizing that your sensitivity, when cared for, can become a strength, because sensitive people are also deep. They notice beauty in the details. They are moved by small things. They are capable of loving with truth, of listening with attention, of seeing pain that many ignore, of offering presence, of creating meaning where before there was only confusion. But for that, you need to learn how to take care of yourself, not only of others, not only of expectations, not only of responsibilities, of yourself, of your body, of your mind, of your rest, of your boundaries, of your peace. Sometimes the question is not, why do I feel so much? Maybe the question is, how can I welcome myself better while I feel all of this? Because you do not need to fight your sensitivity. You need to learn how to protect it. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves space inside you. Not every problem needs to be solved on the same day. Not every demand needs to turn into guilt. Not every sadness needs to be faced in a hurry. Some things need time, and time is not delay. Time is also care. Time is also healing. Time is also a path. So, if today you woke up searching for meaning, maybe meaning is not found in one huge answer. Maybe it is found in small things, in getting up even without wanting to, in preparing something to eat, in breathing more calmly, in taking a short walk, in listening to a peaceful song, in getting some sunlight for a few minutes, in writing down what you feel, in talking to someone who makes you feel safe, in doing one simple thing that brings you a little closer to yourself. Sometimes, meaning does not appear as a great revelation. Sometimes, it is born from small gestures of care, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one breath at a time. You do not need to understand your whole life today. You do not need to decide everything now. You do not need to know exactly who you will be a year from now. You do not need to find all the answers this morning. You only need to get through this moment with a little more gentleness, and maybe repeat to yourself, I do not need to solve everything right now. I only need to take the next step. I can feel this without destroying myself. I can rest without feeling guilty. I can continue, even slowly, because continuing slowly is still continuing. And sometimes, continuing slowly is the only possible way. Do not underestimate that. Do not underestimate your small efforts. Do not underestimate the times you took a deep breath and did not give up. Do not underestimate the times you cried but kept going. Do not underestimate the times you felt lost but still stayed. These moments count too. They are silent proof of your strength. Maybe you look at your own life and think you should be better by now, that you should have overcome it, that you should have understood it, that you should be happier, more productive, more decided, stronger. But who said you must always be in a perfect version of yourself? You have the right to have seasons. Seasons of light, seasons of silence, seasons of confusion, seasons of rebuilding, seasons when you bloom, and seasons when you simply keep yourself alive inside. And if you are in a difficult season right now, that does not mean you have failed. It means you are crossing through, and crossing through is different from giving up. Crossing through requires patience. It requires care. It requires courage. It requires accepting that not everything will improve on the same day, but it also requires believing that today is not the final word, because it is not. What you feel right now is real, but it is not permanent. What hurts right now deserves respect, but it does not deserve to control your entire life. What is difficult right now needs to be welcomed, but it does not need to define your destiny. You still have a path. You still have possibilities. You still have versions of yourself you have not met yet. You still have days ahead when you will breathe more lightly. You still have moments ahead when you will smile without effort. You still have encounters, ideas, places, dreams, and new beginnings that may arrive in unexpected ways. And maybe today, your only task is not to close the door completely to all of that. You do not need to believe with all your strength. You do not need to be absolutely sure. just leave a small opening. An opening for hope. An opening for tomorrow. An opening for the possibility that things can change. Because they can. Life changes. People change. Feelings change. Paths change. And you change too. The pain that seems to take up everything today can slowly lose space. The thought that seems to scream today can, with time, become quiet. The weight that feels impossible today can one day become lighter. But until that day comes, take care of yourself here. Now, in this moment, do not wait until you are completely okay to treat yourself with kindness. Do not wait until life is organized to rest. Do not wait until everything makes sense to breathe. Breathe now. With life as it is, with the doubts that exist, with the tiredness that has shown up, with your heart, the way it is able to be today, breathe. You do not need to pretend everything is perfect. You do not need to deny your pain. You only need to remember that there is more to you than this moment. You are more than your sadness, more than your anxiety, more than your confusion, more than the days when you cannot smile, more than what did not work out, more than what hurt you, more than what you lost. You are still someone under construction, someone trying, someone feeling, someone learning, someone who deserves care, and maybe that is what you need to do today. Care for yourself the way you would care for someone you love, with patience, with respect, with softer words, with less pressure, with more presence. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Maybe the answer is rest. Maybe it is silence. Maybe it is movement. Maybe it is a conversation. Maybe it is distance from something. Maybe it is to stop blaming yourself. Maybe it is simply to breathe without demanding an immediate solution. And that is okay. You do not need to be ashamed of needing care. Everyone needs it. Even those who seem strong. Even those who seem secure. Even those who seem to have everything under control. Everyone, at some point, needs a pause. A kind word. A new beginning. A little calm. So accept this with gentleness. You are not broken forever. You are going through something. And going through something means there is movement. Even if it is slow. Even if it is painful. Even if it is invisible. There is movement. And as long as there is movement, there is possibility. So when you wake up, and the question about the meaning of life comes before anything else, do not be afraid. Just breathe. Tell yourself, today, I do not need to understand everything. Today, I only need to continue with care. Today, I can be gentle with myself. Today, I can take one small step. And maybe that small step will be enough. Maybe it will be the beginning of a quiet change. Maybe it will be the way you begin to come back to yourself. Do not rush to rebuild yourself. Deep things take time. Sensitive hearts take time. Real processes take time. But time is not against you. It can also work in your favor. While you rest, while you learn, while you choose better, while you step away from what weighs you down, while you move closer to what brings you peace, while you allow yourself to begin again. One day, maybe you will look back and realize that the season when everything felt meaningless was not the end. It was a crossing. It was a difficult period. It was a moment when you were learning to live in a more truthful way. And then, things will begin to make more sense. Not because all the answers appeared, but because you learned how to walk, even without having all of them. And that is strength. A calm strength. A silent strength. A strength that does not need to prove anything to anyone. So today, if the world feels too heavy, go slowly. If your mind is noisy, go slowly. If your heart is tired, go slowly. If you do not know what to do, go slowly. Calm is also a path. A pause is also part of the journey. Rest is also necessary. And your whole life does not need to be solved in this instant. Only this day, only this moment, only this breath. You are here, and that still means your story continues. Even if today you cannot see meaning, even if today feels difficult, even if today you can only take one small step, take that step, with fear, if necessary, with tears, if necessary, in silence, if necessary, but take it, because one small step can still lead you out of a dark place. One small choice can still open space for a lighter life. One difficult morning can still end better than it began, and a tired heart can still feel hope again. Do not give up on yourself in this moment. Do not abandon yourself in the middle of the crossing. You can still live better days. You can still be surprised by your own strength. You can still find new reasons. You can still build a calmer life. You can still breathe again without this weight. And until then, keep going with care. Keep going with patience. Keep going without rushing. Keep going even without understanding everything. Keep going even if it is slowly, because slowly is still a way forward, and you do not need to go far today. You only need to continue. A little. Just a little more. Breathe. You are not alone. You are not strange for feeling so much. You are not weak for getting tired. You are not lost forever. You are crossing through, and everything that is crossed through is, one day, left behind. So today, do not demand perfect answers. Do not demand impossible strength. Do not treat yourself as if you were a problem to be fixed. You are a person who needs care, and care begins with small gestures. A pause, a breath, a kinder word, a boundary, a rest, a new attempt. May you remember this today. What feels heavy now will not feel heavy forever. What hurts now will not hurt the same way forever. What feels confusing now will not remain this way forever. Things change, and so do you. So keep going, even without all the answers, even with a sensitive heart, even with a tired mind, even with small steps. Keep going, because there is still life after this season. There is still light after this difficult morning. There is still you after all of this, and that is already a beginning. If this message touched your heart, take a deep breath for a few seconds. Maybe you came this far because you needed to remember that there is still a path ahead. And if these words brought you a little calm, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who is also trying to find the strength to continue. Sometimes, a simple message can arrive exactly when someone needs it most. And remember, you do not need to understand everything today. You only need not to give up on yourself. Breathe, take one more step, and keep going gently, because even slowly, you are still moving forward.